Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the DraftSeal number DS421B. This is weather stripping. It's sometimes referred to by some people as Q-Lon. Q-Lon is a company who makes this material, but so do countless other folks. But if you heard of it called Q-Lon, it's because it's like saying a soda drink, Coke. You know, it doesn't. I guess it means you want Coke, but I suppose you might take something else. Or it's like saying Lexon. Lexon is not necessarily Lexon is polycarbonate. It doesn't mean that you can't take someone else's polycarbonate. So if you hear it called Q-Lon, it's a Kerfton style weather strip is what it is. Now there are different variants of this material from different people in the sense that the shape will generally change a little bit. The dimensional properties will change in relationship to what it is. This happens to be a DS421. That's the item that we're looking at. And these do ship generally on a roll. And this client needed 2 3-foot pieces. Well, they shipped a single piece that was just heavy on 6 foot, and that's pretty normal. They'll do that. And there's an image down below that shows us the dimensional properties of this item. And let's go over that now. So what's important when you're doing this sort of weather stripping is what is the reach? What would be the dimension from basically the face of the stop to the face of the door, and you have to make sure that you can fit this item in, because it may not fit, is the bottom line. There are different projections. They say that this is, 21/32 from the face of the Kerfton style portion to the end of the material itself, and 21/32, I need to convert that. 1 divided by 32 times 17. Is that what it is? No, it's 21. 21/32 is 0.65. So that's going to be just heavy on 5/8. That's a pretty long reach. That's a 5/8 plus a 32nd of an inch. That's a pretty large one. I'm not surprised that you may need this. This is very common, but they sure make shorter sizes as well. And when I put my caliper on here and then measure that without trying to really affect anything, I'm coming up with 5/8, that's for sure. 5/8. Now that is being measured from the top of this rigid backer to the natural position of the end of the material. That is a some sort of a vinyl wrapped. It's not vinyl. This material is some product that is superior to vinyl, whatever they are wrapping this in. That sponge style foam. You see, you've got a hollow spot in those two areas. That's probably not a bad idea for the sake of the design of the product when it comes to acoustical properties, and just, having disparate material with air pockets. So you do need to make sure that your existing material is going to, what you're replacing, what you purchase is going to be dimensionally the same or quite close. And the reason is, when that door was manufactured, they basically built the dimension from the face of the stop to the face of the door to allow for so much material. And I've had people order something on the larger side like this, say, wow, I can't even get my door closed. Okay, yeah, that size that you ordered is too large. There are smaller ones that have a smaller reach. This is kerfed into the jamb, and a kerf, I think it would be best simply for us to switch to the screen view where we can take a look at what that kerf is. So this is the item that we're looking at here, okay, and you can see the dimensional properties. I'm not so sure the width is very important, but it's nice to know what that is. Residential product, foam tight weather stripping they call it. Typical 2 1/8 rabbited kerfed door jamb. I am not sure what they mean by 2-1/8. Don't know what that means. We'll see if we can discover that. In out swing door sill, in swing door sill. Okay, so what they're saying is you'll use this as perimeter gasketing, but you'll also see material like this stuck into thresholds as well for in-swing or out-swing applications. Very common, you'll certainly see them in an outswing application. I know the threshold in my home has an outswing with an inserted kerf type weather stripping like this. So what is that kerf? Let's take a look at what that is. So you're certainly almost always going to have a wood frame. You could do kerfed and hollow metal frames too, believe it or not. Those do exist. Here's your door. That's the kerf. That right there is the kerf. Now it's generally 1/8 of an inch wide. And then the depth, you know, what depth you're going to make it, you know, measuring the exact piece that we have here, I would see no reason to make it more than 3/8, but let's take a look at measuring that. Yeah, 3/8 would certainly be adequate. 5/16 would probably work as well. So the depth of that kerf, you know, 3/8 would be a little bit too much, but nonetheless. Then, of course, your piece, you know, is literally going to fit just like it's shown here, okay? So it's going to be, you know, here, like this. That's the general concept of this material. And again, the dimension from here to here is what you have to determine. That's your question of what's happening there, okay? Very occasionally there are people that have a 3/16 kerf or even a heavier one, and that's generally problematic. I have a memory that something exists. I just don't remember if anyone, and if they do, who makes it for a bigger kerf, but that kerf needs to be 1/8 of an inch wide, and you can stick that in there. Replacing this material is, of course, very easy, very simple and straightforward. It's just literally pulling it out and pushing it back in. And it does fatigue and fail with time. It does also get damaged. You know, as people walk through the opening, they can snag, you know, something on that gasketing and tear it unintentionally. That certainly does happen as well. You know, it is unusual for it to just fatigue and fail. I've had weather stripping installed for over a decade, and it does lose a bit of its resilience. It does get lazy, so to speak. It doesn't project out like it used to, etc. You might have a condition where there's a pet going in and out, and that stuff can get kind of chewed up or damaged unintentionally as well. So it outright failing catastrophically, I don't see that, but replacing it is fairly common because it is a wear item. Cut sheet is linked to here. We'll give you an idea of what they're showing here. I called out 3/8 as being a bit heavy. They want you to make it 3/8, so there you go. 1/8 of an inch by 3/8. They list different finishes: BL for black, B for brown, and W for white. Okay, these are the straight lengths that they offer. They'll also send you a 500-foot roll, and when they're sending us these, they're just taking that 500-foot roll and cutting it down to size. So black, brown, and this is the B, so it's a brown color. Then, of course, we have our product information. That's nice only because they show a couple of variants on this material. That's even a much greater reach that's over here. That's more than 3/4 inch. That's really uncommon. I don't see that very often. Okay. 21:30 seconds. And it could be that we have the wrong image tucked in our description. That is possibly an old image, or this is an old document, one of the two. Because that width is not super crucial and it's only off by a 32nd of an inch, I'll leave the original image there. Here's what those thresholds look like when you're dealing with an inserted kerf weather strip as well. Not uncommon to see that whatsoever. There's a link here to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the DraftSeal products that we sell, but also a link, DraftSeal products, also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the residential catalog and the commercial catalog. If you are dealing with residential pre-hungs, you will want to be familiar with their catalog, at least knowing where to find it, because no one has the variety of unusual thresholds for residential applications than does DraftSeal. They stand alone when it comes to variety of material that can be used. As we scroll through, just variations on a theme, but you may find something here that's utterly perfect for your application. Now that commercial catalog is nice because, well, it will show you those thresholds that we kind of take for granted. The gasketing, typical thresholds, perimeter gasketing, door sweeps that you'll see in commercial applications. They do this all as well. And they have some stuff that other people don't necessarily. I've not seen anything that's unique just as of yet. Now that ramp threshold's unique. I don't see it that way that often. Okay. Really, really wide saddle thresholds here. That 14-inch, no one else is going to have that as a single extrusion. And frankly, I doubt that DraftSeal does either. I bet that's welded together. But they have it in their catalog. Other people don't have, yeah, right there. Weld, location on that 14-inch wide. Automatic door bottoms, pretty common in commercial applications. Some of this material is going to be very similar if you're familiar with National Guard. You might see some of that material from National Guard. Overhead weather stripping, overhead door weather stripping. Other material to equip a commercial door. So very typical and common material that you find here. There's also a link to the A117.1 book, and that is because it is the accessible and usable building guide when it comes to public spaces and accessibility for the handicapped. Why does that matter to DraftSeal? Well, they make thresholds, and knowing what your limitations are when it comes to thresholds is awfully helpful. If you just searched, find function on your keyboard for threshold, you'll immediately get into the area where you can start reading and understanding the governing aspect of what we're dealing with when it comes to handicap compliance and as it affects the hardware that we supply and how it's and where it's installed. The one negative thing about DraftSeal is they are located in Canada, which means when they ship, it's an international shipment. So what's best, at least currently, is that we bring your order in on our semi-monthly sort of stock order so that we get it brought into the United States and then are able to ship it to you. They're up in, forgive me, Canada, British Columbia, I'm going to say is what that is. Okay. There we go. Let's wrap up this video on camera. In conclusion, very nice quality people over at DraftSeal. They mean to do a good job. They try to do a good job. They execute a good job, and they're just generally friendly and helpful all around. I would definitely encourage that you review their catalog. You might find something there that you can't find from anyone else, and pulling it in from DraftSeal may be the perfect solution for you. We would be happy to help you obtain that sort of material to solve your requirements. This, however, is fairly common material, but they have a full complement of it. This is the DraftSeal DS421 in the B or brown color. If you have any questions on this or any other DraftSeal product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.